Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by green hills and tall palm trees, there lived a young girl named Chamaka. Chamaka had no father and no mother. They died when she was still very small, and since then, her life had never been easy. She was staying in her uncle's house, but she was not treated like a daughter. Her uncle had two beautiful daughters, and he loved them very much. But Chamaka was treated like a servant. Every morning, before the sun rose, she would wake up to fetch water, sweep the compound, wash clothes, cook food, and do all the hard work in the house. While her cousins wore fine clothes and went around laughing, Chamaka wore old, torn dresses and walked around quietly with her head down. Sometimes, when she was alone, she would sit behind the house and cry, looking at the sky and whispering, "God, please don't forget me." Many people in the village did not care about her. Some even mocked her. "See that orphan girl? She has nobody. She will never become anything in life." Chamaka heard all these words, but she kept them in her heart and continued to endure. One day, big news spread across the whole village. The king's son, Prince Ikechukwu, had returned from London, where he had gone to study. The whole village was excited because the prince was now ready to get married. According to the tradition of the land, the prince could only choose his wife on off-market day, the foremarket day. On that day, all the maidens and young women in the village must gather at the palace so the prince could choose the one his heart wanted. Every house was full of joy. Chamaka's uncle became very happy because he had two beautiful daughters. But instead of helping Chamaka, his heart became wicked. One evening, he called Chamaka and said to her, "From today, you will no longer stay in my house. You will only bring shame to my daughters. Leave this place." Chamaka knelt down and begged, "Uncle, please, where will I go?" But he did not listen. He pursued her from the house with only the small clothes she was wearing. That night, Chamaka slept in an old, abandoned hut at the edge of the village. She cried till her eyes were swollen. Other girls in the village began to mock her even more. "See her? She thinks she can marry the prince? Who will look at a dirty orphan like her?" Some even avoided her like she was not human. But Chamaka had a good heart. Even in her suffering, she still helped people, still smiled when she could, and still believed that God had not finished with her. Finally, the AF market day arrived. The whole village was full of celebration. Drums were beating, dancers were dancing, all the girls dressed in their best clothes, shining like queens, and went to the palace. Chamaka stayed behind. She sat alone and said, "Even if I go,